evidence of the United States military firing at UFOs, this time in 1952, which was a very important era in ufology, or at least in our interactions with UFOs. And we'll get to why in just a few minutes. But first, get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, this is an interview on the Preston Dennett's YouTube channel. He's got Dolly Saffron on there, who is a conscious UFO contactee and has had hundreds of interactions with beings and fairly high-level interactions. She's flown the ship, which is something that Grant Cameron, wrote an entire book about, is contactees flying the ship. Anyway, so she is very pro-UFO, pro-being, and she has a lot to say, and she is very adamant about her opinion. So it's interesting watching her, because on this show they have a UFO expert. I believe his name is Michael Schratt, and he is, a researcher who has been looking into UFO crash retrievals. And there was one incident in this interview that was kind of funny. Preston asked him, well, why do these things keep crashing? And Dolly has to pipe in and give her answer. And I love it because she might be 100% correct. Her answer makes perfect sense that their ships were having problems with our fluctuating gravity fields. They surf on the gravity waves, and sometimes they lose that connection with the gravity, or the gravity does weird things, and that's why they keep crashing, according to Dolly. Now, from the research I've done in talking about UFO shoot downs, it appears that we've shot these things down before. Now, Dolly says that's impossible, that there's no way we could do that. And I totally get where she's coming from. And, well, I mean, I don't, because she's been flying these ships, right? So I've never flown a ship that I know of. So, I value her insight and her opinion. However, according to my research, we have shot these things down. So apparently it is possible. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about 1952, when there was a shoot down order on UFOs. Shoot them all down was the order. So let's talk about that. Let's see what Mr. Schratt has to say on Preston Dennett YouTube channel. Here goes.
There was an official standing order by the U.S. Air Force told to our own pilots to shoot these things down at any cost. Shoot these things down. So this is Cincinnati Enquirer, July 29th, 1952. Shoot saucers down. Jet pilots so ordered in 24-hour air alert. Next one. Jets keep 24-hour alert for saucers. Pilots ordered to down objects if they don't land. On the saucer trail, pilots told shoot them down. Jets on 24-hour alert to shoot down saucers. So why am I getting into all this? These are the jets, F-94 Starfire, that they were using to try to intercept and knock these things out of the sky. If you go to Davis-Monthan, they have an air museum there. And if you go to Dayton, Ohio, they have an air museum there. The upper one is from the Boneyard, where you can walk around their museum outside here. And you can see on the front nose of this thing, there's 4 hatches. These hatches retract and they open up. And on the bottom at the Air Force Museum, you can see all of the rocket tubes that launch out to try to take these things down. This is the aircraft that they were using to try to shoot these dish-shaped craft down. So here's the rendering of what this might have looked like when they were doing an attempted intercept. Now, I want to bring this up because this is critical. This is in Leonard's book here, and this is from a woman who wrote to Leonard Stringfield. Her name is Mildred Bissell. The date on this is October 2nd, 1979. It's very important. Quote, I heard you speak at the MUFON Symposium in Dayton last year, and I'm interested in your research on retrievals of the third kind. I gave a talk at a local library last week, and in the discussion period following, a fellow told me that when he was a gunner in the Air Force, he had emptied his guns on a UFO and had taken pictures with his gun camera that clearly showed the shells exploding against the side of the craft. He said the camera was taken off the wing of his plane when it landed, and the pictures developed. At 2 a.m., a couple of military policemen came and got him out of bed and took him to the base auditorium. They ran the 17 seconds of movie of the UFO over and over and questioned him and two other crew members until 10 a.m. He was warned never to tell anyone what had happened. He said he had a wife and family, a good job, and a lot to lose. He seemed afraid of the CIA and wouldn't even give me his name. So here's an example of one of these pilots who unloaded an entire, barrage of shells on this thing. It hit the craft, and they got it on motion picture film reel gun camera footage. Now
show us that footage. That's the footage I would love to see.
Yeah,
Frank Frascino wrote a book. Shoot them down.
Yep, that's right. That's right. You know that this happened in World War II. This happened in Korea. This happened in Vietnam. And we can bet that it also happened probably during Desert Storm. So we've got 4 conflicts where they've got gun camera footage of these things being hit and tracked and also being recorded. The question is, where is the footage? Is it at an underground Pentagon vault? Is it at Andrews Air Force Base? Is it at Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio? Where is the photo vault?
Yeah, where is the gun camera footage? Where is all the evidence, right? What is done with it? Well, there is some indication that when people have inquired about trying to find evidence, it has been destroyed. See this thread by Joe Murgia. In 1993, New Mexico Representative Stephen Schiff requested that the General Accounting Office investigate the 1947 crash of a mysterious object in the desert near Roswell, New Mexico. 2 years later, he learned from the GAO that all documents and radio messages during the relevant time period had been destroyed without proper authority. And this is not the first time I've heard about this. Whitley Strieber has also talked about this, as well as various others. Also worth noting is the UFO flyover that happened in Washington, D.C. in 1952. From July 12th to 29th, 1952, a series of UFOs were reported in Washington, D.C., which later became known as the Washington Flap, the Washington National Airport sightings, or the invasion of Washington. The most publicized sightings took place on consecutive weekends. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm actually just reading from Wikipedia, which is not the most, the best place to get information about UFOs, but even they have a page dedicated to this. In fact, quite a long page. So that paper detailing the shoot down order was July 29th, 52. So that would have been the tail end of these incidents over Washington, D.C., a very infamous or famous incident or series of incidents where UFOs flew over Washington, D.C. Well, it appears that this order was given, if indeed that was the first order, at the very end of that incident or series of incidents. So was that in response to the UFO flyover of Washington, D.C.? Did the UFOs alarm Washington, and so they issued this shoot down order? Well, that timing is awfully suspect, right? Or indicative, rather. To me, it seems like the UFO flyover of DC triggered this shoot down order of UFOs. And I don't know for how long it lasted. It might still be going on. There's reports into the modern era of us firing at UFOs. There's also many accounts of us, of the military, of the government working with the beings. And I've made several videos about that. So we're working with some beings, shooting presumably at other beings. We're probably not shooting at the same guys we're working with. So are we, caught in some sort of cosmic war where one group of aliens or non-humans against another potentially? Is that what's going on? And if that's what's going on, have we chosen the right side? Looking at the government today, I'm not confident that they would have chosen the right side, or historically. So you know, can we trust the control group or whoever is managing this, whatever you want to call them, whatever is managing the UFO subject for the government? And, you know, part of it, maybe a lot of it, is in private hands now, but it still has a substantial government involvement, according to my research. Can we trust the control group that has been keeping this secret for so long and assassinating people over the decades to keep this silent and brutally suppressing this topic? Can we trust these guys to have chosen the right side in this cosmic war, if indeed that's what's going on? I don't think we can. So there you have it. We were firing at UFOs in the early 1950s, and if not before, yeah, I think probably before, but definitely in 1952, we were firing at UFOs and probably into the present day. Have we brought any of them down? Well, my research seems to indicate yes. Colonel Philip J. Corso, in his book The Day After Roswell, you know, the whole book is about us reverse engineering UFO technology and eventually developing weapons to fire at them. Well, and ultimately bringing one down, and probably others after that with that same technology. And there are numerous accounts of us bringing them down in other ways as well. So that's really interesting. That does not dovetail with Dolly's experience and her understanding. So I don't know where the truth in that lies. But at any rate, we do fire on UFOs, and we have historically fired on UFOs. And you know, they fire back. They will kill people, displace people, shoot them out of the sky in whatever way they can. We even have this coming from Russia. I made a video about this, I think, last week, where Russia was firing at these objects as well back in the day until enough people had been killed by the UFOs in retaliation for being fired at. You know, kind of hard to blame them. And Russia got the point and stopped firing at them. I've heard similar stories from the U.S. military as well, but, you know, again, who knows where the truth lies. Anyway, really interesting research that Mr. Schratt did on this topic. I can't wait to see what you guys say, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button and smash the bell to be notified of future videos. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. And if you could share this video when it drops on social media, that would be super helpful. There's plenty of other videos on the channel, so check those out at your leisure. And I will see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.